The first time I knocked on my neighbor's door with a toolbox in one hand and a bag of groceries in the other, I thought I was helping a lonely woman who simply needed a little kindness. I never imagined that months later, standing in a crowded downtown conference hall, I would look up at the stage and realize she was the same CEO whose signature had ended my career with a single company-wide email. In that moment, my heart filled with anger, confusion, and one impossible question. Had every Sunday been built on a lie, or was there a truth neither of us had been brave enough to face? If you believe kindness should never depend on someone's status, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who believes in hope, leave your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more emotional stories about forgiveness, compassion, and second chances. Your support helps these stories reach people who need them most. My name is Nathan, and this happened in Portland, Oregon. A year earlier, I had been a project manager at a respected technology company. I loved my work, stayed late when needed, and believed loyalty mattered. Then the economy slowed. Rumors spread through the office like cold wind through broken windows. One Friday morning, everyone received the same invitation to an emergency meeting. By lunchtime, hundreds of employees, including me, had lost their jobs. We were told the decision came from the company's new CEO. I never met her. I only saw her name on the announcement before security escorted us out with cardboard boxes holding years of memories. Losing my job hurt more than losing my paycheck. My confidence disappeared. Weeks became months. Interviews led nowhere, and savings slowly faded. To distract myself from constant worry, I started taking long walks every Sunday morning around my neighborhood. That was when I noticed the woman who had recently moved into the small brick house across the street. Her name was Grace. She struggled to carry heavy bags from her car while trying to keep an old wooden gate from falling apart. I offered to help without expecting anything in return. She smiled with genuine gratitude, and from then on, helping her became an unplanned Sunday tradition. Sometimes I repaired a leaking faucet. Other times I mowed her lawn, carried boxes into the garage, or helped organize donations for a local food pantry she quietly supported. She always insisted on paying me, but I politely refused. Instead, she would leave homemade bread, fresh coffee, or a handwritten thank you note on my porch. Those little gestures reminded me that appreciation sometimes meant more than money. What surprised me most was how ordinary she seemed. She wore simple clothes, drove an older SUV, and spent weekends volunteering at a community shelter. She never talked about business or success. Instead, she asked thoughtful questions about my parents, my dreams, and whether I had heard back from any interviews. She listened without judging, and for the first time since losing my job, I felt seen instead of pitied. Months passed before another interview finally arrived. A former coworker encouraged me to attend a leadership conference where companies were recruiting experienced professionals. I borrowed my brother's blazer, printed fresh resumes, and hoped this would be my chance. Everything changed the moment the keynote speaker walked onto the stage. The giant screen displayed the name Grace Whitmore, my neighbor, the CEO, the woman responsible for the layoffs. My hands became numb as memories collided inside my mind. Every Sunday, every smile, every act of kindness suddenly felt impossible to understand. I quietly left before her presentation ended, convinced I had been foolish enough to trust the very person who had destroyed my career. That evening, someone knocked on my front door. Grace stood there with tears quietly filling her eyes. She explained that she had recognized me the moment I introduced myself months earlier, but she had been too ashamed to say anything. When she became CEO, the company had already been losing millions of dollars because of decisions made years before she arrived. The board had given her only two choices: approve painful layoffs or watch the entire company collapse, taking every remaining employee with it. She had signed the papers with a heavy heart, knowing families would suffer no matter what she chose. She admitted that meeting me every Sunday changed her. Instead of seeing employee numbers on reports, she finally understood the faces behind every decision. Because of those conversations, she had started building new hiring programs, career counseling, and emergency assistance for former workers. She knew it could never erase the pain, but she hoped it might help people rebuild. I didn't forgive her immediately. Some wounds deserve honesty before healing. Over the following weeks, we talked openly about loss, leadership, responsibility, and regret. I realized forgiveness wasn't pretending the past never happened, it was refusing to let bitterness decide the future. Several months later, Grace invited me to lead a new community partnership program connecting unemployed professionals with local businesses. It wasn't charity, it was meaningful work built on compassion and practical support. For the first time in a long while, I looked forward to Monday mornings again. Before this story comes to an end, I'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment and tell us this. Do you believe someone who made a painful decision deserves a second chance if they truly try to make things right? As I watched families celebrate new jobs at one of our career fairs, I realized something that changed my life forever. The person I believed had ruined my future had unknowingly helped me discover a better purpose. Sometimes healing doesn't arrive through perfect people. Sometimes it arrives through imperfect hearts willing to admit their mistakes and grow from them.
If this story touched your heart or reminded you that kindness can change lives in unexpected ways, please support the video by liking it, sharing it with someone who needs encouragement,
subscribing to the channel, and letting your voice be heard in the comments. Your support keeps stories of hope, faith, forgiveness, and second chances alive for others who may need them today.